I'll wait to see your golden smile, feel of 1,000 kisses.
Hi, welcome back to our channel, where we normally live on a sailboat in the Mediterranean, and every once in a while we get an itch and abandon the ocean entirely to visit a landlocked country. Today is one of those days. We've been traveling around Austria for about 3 weeks now, which is impressive because we came here fully prepared for an aggressive winter, like snowpocalypse, like you will not survive without chains, blankets, and emotional resilience. And yet, it is the end of January going into February, and we've seen one polite dusting of snow. Just enough to say, hey, I could snow, but I'm not feeling it today. So in this episode, we're exploring the Salzkammergut region, and more specifically, we're driving from Salzburg to Hallstatt and then on to Wolfgangsee, which is very scenic and very cold, but not nearly as dramatic as we thought. This area is actually very personal to me. My grandparents lived in Salzburg, so as a child about 30 to 40 million years ago, I spent a month or two here at a time, alternating between summers and winters. Wolfgangsee was one of the places we'd come to for day trips. I remember it being beautiful and calm. I don't remember ever coming to Hallstatt though, which means one of two things. Either my grandparents had no interest in bringing me here, or I blocked it out emotionally. So today, we're both on a new adventure. Donovan is in the passenger seat, which means he's in charge of filming. This is always exciting because Donovan films the way someone films right before they realize they've been recording their feet for a full minute. Yes, this footage right here, that's his feet. Premium content. This is what YouTube was invented for. So please like and subscribe for more accidental vehicle floor carpet and footwear cinematography. So, Hallstatt. Hallstatt is one of those places you've absolutely seen on Instagram, even if you don't know what it's called. It's that village squeezed between a lake and a mountain where every building looks like it signed a contract agreeing to be photographed at all times. Hallstatt is a tiny village in Upper Austria, sitting right on the edge of Hallstättersee, with steep alpine mountains rising almost vertically behind it. There are fewer than 800 people who actually live here, which is shocking once you learn that over 1 million tourists visit each year. The town is incredibly old, like prehistoric old. People have been mining salt here for over 7,000 years, which is wild because I can barely commit to a gym membership for 5 months in winter. Salt is basically the reason Hallstatt exists, thrived, and became extremely photogenic. Back in the day, salt was so valuable it was literally called white gold, which explains why this place looks like it was funded by a medieval influencer sponsorship. Because the town is wedged between the lake and the mountain, there's almost no room to expand. Streets are narrow and houses are stacked like they were placed by someone playing architectural Tetris. At the water's edge, right there in almost every Instagram photo of Hallstatt, is the Evangelical Parish Church of Hallstatt, also known as the Christuskirche. It was built in 1863 during a time when Protestant miners were finally allowed to practice their faith openly in this region. Before that, they mostly kept a low profile, because Austria was not exactly chill about religious variety back then. It's not a massive church, but its location does most of the work. Sitting right on the lake, framed by mountains, it has absolutely nailed the whole accidentally iconic thing. Above the village sits the Catholic parish church of the Assumption, known in German as Pfarrkirche Maria am Berg, parts of which date back to the 12th century. This church comes with one of the most unusual cemeteries you will ever see. The cemetery itself is very small because once again the mountain said no more room. So for centuries, Hallstatt had to get creative with burial practices. Oh my God, can you? We still haven't seen the skulls.
The what?
The skulls.
What skull?
They're back there. Enter the Beinhaus, or bone house, where no photography is allowed, and for good reason. When graves needed to be reused, bones were carefully exhumed, cleaned, and placed inside the chapel. But Hallstatt didn't stop there, because if you're going to do something unsettling, you might as well do it beautifully. Over 600 skulls are stored inside, many of them hand-painted with floral designs, symbols, and the names of the deceased. It's not meant to be creepy, it's meant to be respectful. Families wanted their loved ones remembered even when space ran out. The church overlooks the lake and the view is stunning. Quiet water, a few snow-dusted rooftops, and mountains that look like they've been judging humanity for centuries, which they have. Now, you might have heard that Hallstatt is quiet in the off-season. That is a lie, or at best, a misunderstanding. We arrived expecting a peaceful alpine village, and instead drove directly into what can only be described as a full-scale tourism event.
Yeah, there's like a little river or something down there.
Parking was optimistic. Every spot taken, every corner full, and tour buses. So many tour buses. There were hundreds of people walking through town, all trying to get the exact same photo from the exact same angle of the exact same church tower. The vast majority of those tour buses were filled with Asian tourists, which makes sense because Hallstatt is so popular in China that they didn't just take inspiration from it. They built the entire town all over again. There is a full-scale replica of Hallstatt in China. Same layout, same houses, same church tower. Hallstatt isn't just a village anymore, it's a global brand, a very small brand, with very narrow streets and nowhere near enough lunch tables. We waited 45 minutes for a table for what can only be described as a very late lunch that was emotionally closer to dinner, but it was delish. As beautiful and chaotic as Hallstatt is, once you leave town, winter gets quiet, very quiet, which we were about to learn is a theme.
Wolfgangsee.
From Hallstatt, we drove to Wolfgangsee, one of the most beautiful lakes in Austria and one of the places I remember from my childhood.
Everything's closed.
Bad time of day.
Nap time. Oh my god, look at that building. That is cool.
St. Wolfgang is usually a charming, lively lakeside town. In winter, it was completely dead. Not quiet, not peaceful, dead. No cafes open, no lights on, no cars parked. It looked like the set of a movie where everyone vanished mid-sentence.
Tourists.
Handicap. I don't know what the blue means. Probably no parking.
I don't know, there's a little doctor here.
Yeah, could be.
60 minutes. Monday through Saturday, 6 to 9 to 7. 60 minutes. Man, I would be so mad if I was these people and paid for a tour and came to a town that was completely dead and closed.
There was exactly one small tour group wandering around, and I'm pretty sure they didn't know they were being dropped off in a town that had emotionally clocked out for the season. It was beautiful, immaculate buildings, fresh snow, reflections on the lake, but also deeply unsettling. Like, are we allowed to be here, or did we miss an evacuation? By the time we arrived in St. Wolfgang, the sun was starting to dip behind the mountains, and suddenly everything slowed down. The lake sits between mountains, and in winter everything is muted. Soft blues, whites, grays, like nature turned the saturation down on purpose. The lake reflected the sky perfectly. The mountains turned darker by the minute, and the whole place felt calm in a way that Hallstatt absolutely did not.
That's pretty nifty.
So after confirming that yes, the town was alive but simply closed, we got back in the car and continued on. we drove to another Wolfgangsee town and immediately hope. The town was mostly quiet, except for a single cozy coffee shop near Mozart-Brunnen statue. Mozart never actually lived in St. Gilgen, but his mother was born here, and Austria said, close enough. In the coffee shop, we sat by a group of older women, drinking coffee, eating cake, spilling all the tea around town, and laughing like they had nowhere else to be, which honestly felt like the perfect ending. Like the town wasn't dead, it was just on a siesta break. And that's it for this episode, a winter drive through the Salzkammergut. Light snow, one chaotic town amongst several empty ones, church steeples all around us, and one heroic coffee shop. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us which town you would absolutely visit and which one you'd politely back away from. In our next episode, we're taking the train from Salzburg to Munich, crossing into Germany, and spending the next few weeks there, where we assume winter will continue to underperform. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.